What's up, everybody?
Well, I won't hit you, you don't hit me.
I'm gonna take your hometown boy's belt.
Anybody that tries to take my gold can bend the knee too.
Oh, really? I think it's impossible. This is what I think.
Of course I think I'll beat him. How would I take the fight?
We're on the same page. So we're normal. Oh, we're going to balance.
What I thought the first time. It wasn't true to me.
Oh, Miami, Florida, let's go! Thank y'all for coming out. Welcome to the newly named Kaseya Center. I'm John Hannon. We got a lot going on today. But how about getting the UFC back in Miami, folks, right? I mean, with respect to Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa, Jacksonville, there's 1305, and we are very happy to be here in Miami. As many of you guys know. By the way, who needs tickets? Who needs tickets? I don't have any tickets. I'm sorry. I don't have any tickets. I get two. My 11-year-old daughter's coming for the first time, so I'm sorry. I don't have any tickets to give away today. But as many of you know, this is the 30th anniversary of UFC 1 back in 1993. So over the course of this year in select cities, we're going to sort of pay tribute to a lot of the individuals that comprise the very fabric of the UFC. And given the fact that we have a UFC Middleweight Championship set to headline here at UFC 287, a lot of our athletes that you're going to see today have made a lot of history in the UFC's middleweight division. So we will open it up to questions from the media and fans later, but I want to introduce our star athletes at this time. First up to the stage today, he is a former UFC light heavyweight champion. Many of you fondly remember the Machida era, a man who really revitalized karate and its employment in the UFC. Please welcome the Dragon, Lyoto Machida. Also in the building with us, fresh off of a big win at Gamebred Boxing last weekend. This man was the phenom way before Raul Rosas Jr. He won the UFC heavyweight tournament at UFC 12 back in 1997. And what he did in 2013 in Brazil, one of the greatest calendar years in MMA history, you know who he is, Vitor Belfort. All right, next athlete to the stage, one of the more popular fighters on this active roster, top to bottom. What he did in ending the reign of Anderson Silva will withstand the test of time. He is the former UFC middleweight champion, the All-American, Chris Weidman. All right, our last individual to grace us with his presence today. If you have a Mount Rushmore in mixed martial arts, you've got a slot reserved for this man, the decorated former welterweight and UFC middleweight champion of the world, Georges St-Pierre. All right, well, this is an absolute thrill for not just you.
Thank you, guys.
What an absolute honor to have four great former UFC champions with us here today. We have microphones set up right, left, and center. Before I get to the media and my man Jose, I just want to chop it up with you, man, just for a minute. Lyoto, it's been a while, man. For those that haven't been tracking your every move, what have you been up to over the last couple of years?
So it's a long time away from UFC, but now I'm back in different scenario. So I'm so happy to be here among those guys and to share some good stuff with you guys. Thank you so much.
And then, of course, to his right, Vitor Belfort, a little black eye after the big win last weekend. Congratulations, man. It's great to see you.
Thank you, thank you. It's an honor to be here with you guys, with these legends here. So many history, and we're gonna have some fun tonight. I hope you guys today. So hopefully to answer some questions and enjoy this ride here with you guys.
And good to have the whole Belfort family backstage with us today. And Chris Weidman, I believe, was drinking on the weigh-in show this morning, but he's sobered up. It's good to see you, brother.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a hangover right now, but I think I'll get through it, thanks to some mojitos. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. It's an honor to be on stage with these guys, true legends of the sport. And yeah, it should be a fun time.
And of course, the inimitable Georges St-Pierre. The relationship you have with this fan base is pretty special, and I gotta imagine it feels pretty good, gives you chills to be back with these fight fans.
Man, thanks for it's good to feel the love, you know, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, well, we got about 30 minutes, so feel free to grab a microphone. Don't be shy. We don't have any tickets. We can't do any photos, but we are here for you for the next 30 minutes. Jose Youngs, take it away.
Question for Georges St-Pierre. Obviously, I think people would assume you would be on a panel with the greatest welterweights of all time, but you're here with the middleweight. So I'm curious, do you consider yourself a middleweight now that your career is over?
No, I always thought of myself being a welterweight. And even, I think I could have gone to 155. You know, nowadays I look, my training partner that fight at 155, they're just as big as me. And I've never been a big fan of cutting weight. I did it basically because everybody does it, but I was always more concerned about my health than my performance. So I think it's, you know, if you can perform good without cutting weight, I think it's always better, you know?
And questions for all the former champions on the stage. Obviously, on Saturday, Israel is going to look to defeat a guy that's 3-0 against him. A lot of people consider Alex his boogeyman, the one that follows him throughout his career. So I'm curious, was there a fighter or a training partner or someone that maybe followed you throughout your careers that you just didn't really particularly care to get matched up with each time? George, I'll start with you.
There was a few actually, especially in jiu-jitsu. There were guys that were, I don't know, their style. You know, styles makes fight. There were some guys. Normally in jiu-jitsu, I'm doing very well with guys that rely more on athleticism because I can match them. But guys that are not so athletic, but they are extremely technical. I have the tendency to have a hard time with these guys. And John Danaher had a few students that give me a really hard time. I used to call them my worst nightmare. You know.
We can go down the line if you want. Chris,
Go ahead, Chris.
I don't really have anybody that I can think of off the top of my head that is like someone that we've gone back and forth with, and I got, you know, like it's just a tough matchup. I always wanted that Rockhold fight back. You know, that's my first loss. That's the one I always wanted back, but that wasn't able to happen. You know, obviously I've had some tough losses, so there's guys that matchup-wise didn't work out for me, but like I can't think of like a guy where we went back and forth on. It just wasn't a good matchup for me.
Vitor?
Yeah, in training, Carson Gracie team was very hard, so it's like you have a hard time every day, so it was so many, thank you for the love. So I'm always training myself, competing myself with the best, and like I say, fighters are typical, the hardest ones are the ones that you never forgot, but when I was young, growing up in Carson, I got beat up every day, so that's what made me tough.
So it's always in training, it's hard sometimes because especially when you have a fight coming up, because you cannot win every session of training. So sometimes you have some guys that is lighter than you, but because of the training, because of you're tired, so sometimes they can beat you up and it's a part of the training. You can just forget that and focus the day of the fight.
And if I may add something, there's a lot of guys who are very good in the gym, but when the lights are on and it's time to compete, they freeze. You know what I mean? To be successful in this game, I mean, in combat sport, is you need to be good when it counts, when it matters, and that's something that it's not everybody that can do that. You know.
Then one final one for everyone on stage. Do you have a prediction or any thoughts on the main event between Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya?
I am biased. I'm friend with Adesanya, and I think this time he's gonna get it.
Chris Weidman, who wins the main event?
Man, it is a really tough fight. It's probably the worst matchup for Adesanya, but Adesanya is the better mixed martial artist. On paper, you got to go with Adesanya just based on, I think he's better in every category of mixed martial arts, but the power of Pereira is insane, bro. His left hook is crazy. But I think if Adesanya is able to keep that distance, you know, just hit him and keep his feet moving, I think he got this fight.
Vitor, who do you like Saturday?
Yes, his styles are very, so I just feel like Adesanya is the better mixed martial artist, but Pereira coming at such an incredible preparation. He has Glover Teixeira with him, a guy who knows jiu-jitsu, boxing, And I feel like he got in the head a little bit of Adesanya, and it's gonna be an emotion fight. But I mean, Pereira is so cold, like he's so like a killer.
Yeah.
And if the chance for Adesanya is on the ground, standing up, I don't see a chance. So it's gonna be a very interesting. But I mean, with little gloves, you get hit right here on the temple. It's hard to recover. So Pereira can put his punching combination together. I think it'll be a tough fight for Adesanya, but I mean, both guys are tough. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
But that's my prediction.
Vitor, what do you think, my man?
So I don't want to be biased, even though I'm Brazilian and I'm a friend of Pereira. But I put all my money on Pereira because I already trained so many times with him, and I know how difficult he is. He knows the distance really good, and everything that he does is through conscious. No, just by instinct. Because who knows Pereira knows that he does everything. If he moves to the side, he knows why he's moving to the side. It's not randomly moving. Then I put all my money on Pereira, for sure, man.
I want to hear from the crowd. Who's got Adesanya? Make some noise. Okay? Who's got Pereira? Make some noise. Pretty even.
Damn.
All right, let us go to the right here. What do you have, sir?
Oi, bom dia, meu irmão. Como vai você?
Oh,
I got one question. We all talk about all the fighters that are really good inside the ring. Can you name one of your training partners or someone inside the gym that never transitioned to the UFC that was very, very, very good?
There is one. My coach, Firas Zahabi. And trust me, I truly believe he would have done, if he would have competed, he would have done very, very well in mixed martial art. However, he always been more cerebral, more, you know what I mean? More, what is the word?
He's more a coach than a fighter.
Yeah, more a coach. He was always the guy that we turned to when we needed to seek some advice. So I think he chose that path for that reason. But I think that if he would have chosen to make a career out of it, he would have done pretty well.
Yeah, for me, the biggest beast I've ever seen in the room, his name is Ray Longo. You guys ever seen him before? He decided to stay as a coach, thank God, because the heavyweight division would be some serious problems. Knocks people out. Anytime he used to spar people, they'd just be dropped immediately in the first round. And so, but he wanted to, just save the world brain cells.
Right.
So he decided not to engage, and he stayed just as focused as a coach, and he's done some amazing things.
Vitor, what do you have?
So we had when I was young in Carson Gracie, we had a lot of fighters, but I had one fighter, Ricardo Liborio. So Liborio for me is one of the greatest guy, and if he would have transitioned, he would be crazy, so good.
so I have a guy that it was a long time ago. He used to fight in UFC as well. He does pretty good in training. His name is Vladimir Matyushenko. He's a beast, man, wrestling. But I don't know what reason, but every time when he competes well, but when he have a high challenge, difficult challenge, he could go further. But he didn't go. But I don't know why, because when it comes to competition, it's involved a lot more aspect, emotional aspect, technical aspect, so many things you have to put together at the same time.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, we'll go over here. What do you have, sir? Go ahead, my man. Yes, sir.
Yo, man, I'm a nobody. My name's Mel. I just want to know if anybody missed weight. John, if you could pass on the message. Yo, I fill in for them, you feel me? Let Dana know what's up. I train, I do Muay Thai. I'm more than willing to hold pads for any of you guys on stage. Everywhere I go, I always got my pads and my gloves, bro. I've been down here traversing the world teaching in Mexico and in Miami, and I'm just trying to teach more and learn more and possibly step up in this arena one day. But you know the vibes, man. Shout out to Miami. You already know what it is. And George, do a free wrestling seminar, George. Come on, man. I'm trying to be great. And Vitor, yo, you smooth in that suit, cuz.
Yeah. You speak like you rapping. Can you rap?
No, I'm telling you, if y'all put me in this shit, it'd be like Mike Tyson mixed with The Rock. If you smell with The Rock, I'm telling you, I'm turning up, yo. I love y'all, man. Appreciate y'all.
What's your name? You gotta tell everybody your name.
So my full name is Jamel Simpson. Ooh, Ooh, yeah. I speak Spanish too. Hola, ¿entiendes mucho? Habla poco. Mucho cervezas es bueno. Dos chicas, uy, diablo. ¿Qué fue? Yo, but no, seriously, man, I'm telling you, I'm ready for this shit. Big time, big stage, you know what I'm saying? Let's work, let's do this shit. Jamel Simpson's my name, man. Yo, Muay Thai's my game, but don't wrestle me, because if you try to wrestle me, I'm going for an ankle pick straight up. I'm breaking legs, I'm gonna just be real. I'm not doing that.
Jamel Simpson, ladies and
Wait.
gentlemen.
Last thing. This is my man right here, man. Mike, he gonna ask me more questions. No more questions, man. No more questions, no more photos, man. That's it. You gotta talk to my man.
This question is for George. George, I've been training since I was 5 years old. I've been a role model of you've been my biggest role model. Do you have any advice for an up-and-coming fighter per se?
Well, the advice for me is you need to choose what you love to do in life, not what your parent want for you, your friend. What do you want to do? Once you figure that out, that's a big step already. Once you figure that out, do it for yourself. And if you do it because you love it, you know, it's playful, it's fun, normally you'll get better at it, and hopefully, you know, you put on the work and it will take off.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, back to the middle. Yes, sir.
Free class.
Hey guys, Daniel Charbonneau from TSN 690 in Montreal, Quebec. Naturally, I have some questions for George. George, there's a little rumor that during fight week you may have had a dinner with Adesanya, and I'm curious if you gave him any advice during that time.
No, I wasn't in Miami this week. I was in Montreal. I just arrived last night. But yeah, I'm sure he doesn't need my advice. I'm sure he's gonna do pretty well.
Awesome.
I wish him the best.
I heard you've been spending a bit of time at Silvertooth MMA. I'm just curious what pushes you to keep training and improve your techniques years after retirement?
Well, I do not train for performance now, even though there's friendly competition in the gym. You know, I always enjoy that. I train for longevity. I train because, for me, it's a therapy. It allows me to be a better person. That's why I'm doing it.
Amazing. And last question for our Montrealers back home. Where's your favorite place to get a poutine? And for the other guys, would you ever be interested in trying a poutine, which is French fries, gravy, and cheese?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they would like it, but yeah, but the best poutine is, if you go to Quebec City, it's called Ashton, or Montréal, La Banquise. That's right.
Thanks so much, guys.
He was ready to go with that answer right there. All right, go ahead.
A quick question for the GOAT, George. I saw you Wednesday at TriStar, and I just wanted to know, can we roll together?
Let's do it next time, no problem.
Hell yeah, see you next week.
Go ahead, man.
All right, my question is for all you champs up here. Respectfully, who hit the hardest and who hit the softest, guys?
Leota, why don't we start with you? Of all your opponents, who hit the hardest and maybe who didn't hit so hard?
It's hard to say because every time when I got some punch, I pass out, man. It's hard to say that, but I can say that the tricky opponent that I have was John Jones, because he could change the game in the middle of the game, you know? The moment that he figured out that he could do anything on some part of the fight, he can go to another part and finish the fight.
That's fair, that's fair.
Who hit the hardest? Oh my God, so many. I got hit one time by a boxer. I was fighting 10 cap, but I sparred with this guy who was a Tyson sparring partner. And I was, for 5 minutes, up talking, but I just came back and then they say, you're talking about popcorn. So I was all over the place. I was, for 5 minutes out, it was the hardest hit I ever took in my whole entire life.
Well, I'm sitting next to two guys that I was in the octagon with, and both of them hit me pretty damn hard. Lyoto Machida threw body kicks like I've never felt before. It was the craziest damn thing. He's in that southpaw position. He's supposed to just be a karate fighter, and then it's like the hardest kick of all time. And then Vitor with his damn boxing, you know, barrage of punches, hits like a freaking truck. So, I mean, I'm sitting next to these two guys, and I remember, you know, getting hit pretty damn hard by them. And then obviously you got to go into some of the knock. Yo Romero, I mean, the flying knee was pretty damn hard.
That's a must.
You know, and we are in the 305, so salute.
The person that hit me the hardest, I think it's Carlos Condit, and I'm gonna explain to you why. At one point in my fight with him, I was standing up, I saw him coming in, going to the left, and I followed him. And then something happened, I was out, and I ended up on my butt. I was like, shit, I'm missing like a split second or something. So that means he hit pretty hard. You know, when you don't feel it, that means you hit pretty hard.
Respect, champs. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, man. We'll go back to the middle now. My man, go ahead.
Yeah, a question for Lyoto. I don't believe you've retired, so I just wanted to get a career update. Like, where are you at, and you know what's going on with your fighting career?
So I train pretty much every day because I like to train. It's a part of my life. Martial arts is in my blood. But we never know. I train with those young guys and I do sparring like at least once a week and I feel good. But for now, I don't have any offer, so I prefer just to keep training and do what I like to do, what I love to do.
But would you want to fight again at some point?
Yes, I would like to fight. At least one more time, you know? Who knows, can be the farewell or something like that.
Maybe in the UFC.
You never know. UFC is my home and I love to be here and I love the crowd, I love the people. Thank you.
And just one question for all the panel. Most of you guys fought Anderson Silva and it was announced that he's joining the UFC Hall of Fame. Just a reaction, any words on his career and obviously another former UFC middleweight champion.
Chris, you want to start us on the Anderson Silva stuff?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if there's someone that deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, it's Anderson Silva. I think it's a guy that we all, you know, looked up to. Especially for me, I was a little bit younger of a generation, but he was like a mythical figure. Being able to share the octagon with him is, you know, a true blessing, and I was honored to do it. And he brought so much to the table. You know, it wasn't just his technical, you know, attributes. It was the mental side of it, the way you know, make you feel like there's nothing you could do to him. And no matter what you hit him with, you know, he was still there and looking at you like that nothing hurt him. The guy was truly, you know, just great for the sport. And so him retiring and moving on and, you know, doing his thing in boxing is pretty awesome. And to see that the UFC is honoring him with, you know, being in the Hall of Fame is pretty cool to see.
Vitor, Anderson Silva's induction.
Yeah, you got what you deserve. No one deserved more than Anderson, what he put in the sport, what we represent. So was one of the champions that I shared the octagon with it. So like I love when I see when people recognize and something that you don't pick yourself. So someone picked but no one deserved more than him. So congrats for Anderson and his family.
And Lyoto, I'd imagine a lot of respect for your fellow Brazilian Anderson Silva as well.
Oh yeah, Anderson Silva, we trained together a couple times, but we never had opportunity to do a camp together, no, but he's a legend. I consider one of the best in this sport.
And of course, for Georges St-Pierre, so much of your career was spent answering questions about this man. Your thoughts on Anderson?
And Anderson is probably the best whoever do it. You know, he's just incredible. I mean, he fought like he was in the Matrix. You know, he's got the best highlight in UFC. I think, yeah, he deserves it more than anybody.
All right, we're going to go back over here. Looks like this man just got off the golf course. What do you have, sir?
Hey, I'm just here to say hi to my dear friend Vitor Belfort. If you guys don't know, his son just signed a football scholarship with Virginia Tech.
Shout out to Davi Belfort, one of the best young quarterbacks in this country.
And one last thing. He just had a birthday, April 1st, so we could all give a big hat. Let's go. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Phenom. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I need some autographs. I can get some autographs?
Perhaps later on, my man, okay? Thank you. All right, let us go back over here to the left. Go ahead, brother.
Hey everybody, Jake Long from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. What's up, Miami? Hey, quick question for everybody. What is next for you? Congratulations, the Phenom on his boxing victory. Chris Weidman, we haven't seen you quite a long time. When are you getting back in that octagon? I know, Lyoto, you just told us what you had, you know, what you're expecting. You want to get a fight, get another back in the ring. And GSP, what's next?
I'm busier than I was when I was fighting, so a lot of things. I have a vodka that comes out pretty soon. I got a movie project, so yeah, it's all good. I'm more busy than I was when I was fighting.
Yeah, obviously, if you didn't know, about 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I broke my leg in that fight with Uriah Hall. So recovering from that has been a mission. And I'm pretty much at the tail end of it, and I'm excited to get back in the octagon probably sometime this summer.
And Vitor, we were all watching last weekend. Congratulations on a big win over Jacare Souza.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great match. And as you guys know, the Paul brothers, I'm willing to fight both at the same night. We can do 3 rounds. We won 3. I can go. No worries. But they've been ducking me forever. So I would love to fight real fighters like Nate Diaz, Nick Diaz. They have great boxing. That would be a great fight for me. And Roy Jones Jr. picked Anthony Pettis. Anthony Pettis won. And now he's asking for Anderson Silva. Stop ducking me. You guys got to come for Belfort. I'm an old fella. I'm old. So, and boxing is my skill. So I love what I do, and it's a passion. And I'm ready to go. Ready to go at any time.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Lyoto, you thought about boxing at all?
I want to try one day, because I train everything, for MMA. If I have a chance to fight in boxing, that would be good too, because I want to test my skills in box. That'd be completely different than MMA, for sure.
Maybe we get an offer for Lyoto Machida next week. All right. Back over here to stage left. What do you have, sir?
All right. Hey, everybody. My name's Manny. Follow up on that question about hard hitters. Now, what did you all do, or what strategies did you use to sort of stay composed and continue fighting in an effective manner?
You gotta get hurt first. You ever tried to get hit?
Oh yeah, I've been hit.
You're only gonna know when you get hit. So what you do, but you have to prepare yourself. So it's a lot of training, like ways of training that you train your brain to assimilate the knockout. But I mean, trying to don't get hit, because when you get hit, that's when you see what's happening.
There was one thing that we did in training to try to emulate it, but it's hard to emulate that. My coach would have us spin in a circle as fast as we possibly can, and then you go right into hitting pads or sparring with somebody light. I think that was probably the best way for us to try to figure out a way to simulate what's going to happen in a fight if you get rocked.
I mean, for me, it's important. If you talk about hard hitters, if you spar or you fight someone who hit harder than you, who's known to hit very hard, it's important to don't stay in front of him. Always be in movement, Always, 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 always. Of course, you plant your feet when you hit, but then when you finish, you move, move, move. The reason is very simple. Let's say you have a sniper. What is the easiest target? The person, for a sniper, someone who doesn't move, or if someone moves, it's hard because he's moving. Same thing in fighting. A fighter that moves is a fighter that does not get hit. And if you want a good longevity in this game, it's important to move your legs, your legs, your legs, and your legs.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, back to the center. Go ahead.
Pergunta para o Vitor e para o Lyoto. Vou falar em português, vocês podem responder em inglês para a galera entender aqui. Vocês dois são dois dos maiores representantes que tivemos podemos dizer, primeira safra da MMA brasileira, né? Na popularização do esporte no país. Tem tido uma renovação natural. Hoje, Alex Poitin, Gilbert Burns, Amanda Nunes, Charles do Bronx. Queria que vocês falassem como é que vocês enxergam essa, podemos dizer, nova safra, a reformulação dos lutadores brasileiros para continuar fazendo com que a MMA cresça cada vez mais no país.
Yeah, so talking about how the cycle of fighting in Brazil. So me and Lyoto coming from the beginning of the Safra. So I think it's very important to make fighting part of our culture. And I think Brazil You know, one thing that doesn't have in Brazil, they have in America and Canada is the support of the gyms and support of the investors. So I think Brazil, if we have more investing in especially promoters, events, Brazil is always going to be a place where you either play soccer or you become a fighter. So fighting is being a big thing of Brazil. The Brazilian people, they fight. It's a country that have that in the nature. So it's a third world country, but I mean, we have one of the best fighters in Brazil, and I always believe we're gonna have a lot of great coaching. It's just the infrastructure. You just gotta get better every time, and I think we're in a good season right now.
And I believe that we need more support in our country. You know, we have to have more events. It's more events that can, like, launch the guys through the world. But it's hard because sometimes we don't have that. But everyone has to do their own. No, you have to go on your own. You have to come to the United States. You have to open your own chance, your own possibility. But that's the sport. We cannot complain that. We just have to accept everything and forget and move and go further than you can.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Back over here, go ahead.
Saludo a todos. Hi, my name is Gabriel Lopez. I'm from San Juan, Puerto Rico. First of all, I wanted to thank the UFC for such a stacked card in Miami 305. Second of all, I have two questions. As you can see, I hurt my hand training well this past week. I see some of the 4 best former title champions and challengers, and you guys have seemed to have the most longevity throughout your UFC and career path. What type of suggestions or something you guys do? I see George does ice bath and other things, and what do you can like tell everyone else to follow and do it as well, so you could get a more longevity to the sport? That would be my first question.
You want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, it's proven that one of the best thing you can do to increase your longevity is exercise. But it's not only to work hard, it's to work smart. I see guys sometime in the gym, they leave their career in the gym. They get into wars every day in sparring, and they leave their career in the gym. So you need to not only train hard, but train smart. It's more important. So that's one thing I can tell you and advise: train smart. Don't train hard, train smart.
Yeah, one of the other things I try to tell people who are up and coming that they should focus on for longevity is strength and conditioning. Don't avoid the weight room. Like compared to jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, wrestling, it's kind of boring. It's not as competitive. I never was like super into it, and I feel like I paid for it because strength and conditioning really helps. Just like all that weight on your joints just helps strengthen your joints and just help you stay healthier throughout your career. So I think sticking with strength and conditioning during your camps and throughout your fight career is going to help you stay in the sport longer.
So longevity, I'm approving of that. You know, I started at a very young age. I remember in 1996 was my first fight in UFC. And I'm 46, and I didn't lose speed. I didn't lose power. And the problem I think with society is like everybody wants to retire everybody. And I live in Florida. It's one of the best places for retirement. So I think the key, I'll be honest with everybody, stay out of sugar, quit alcohol. That's the two things that will kill you, age you. And I mean, that's the two things fighters love after the fight. So, but I mean, I challenge my kids, my kids don't eat sugar. You know, I hope they never touch alcohol because they give you pleasure at the moment. But I mean, I know, but so some people like it, they cannot avoid, but that's why they're not gonna make it. You cannot have longevity and performance at a high level if you are into these two categories. So I think it's like the worst thing for your life. It is sugar, like bad sugar, and alcohol. That will age you fast.
So, like everybody said here, it's very true, but for me, it's so many things together. No, you cannot just, you have to have a good food, you have to do mobility, you have to work on your strength, you have to work on your technique because you can save your body, you can save energy when you have a good technique. So many things together, but it's hard to say just one thing or other thing. I think to have a lifestyle, it's a lifestyle. You have to have a different lifestyle.
Excellent. My second question is to the GOAT, Georges St-Pierre. I know 16 years ago, you had a really tough battle with Macera, and actually, at 16 years ago today, that was it. That was the fight. Now, Israel Adesanya is coming back after just a small layoff. Just a couple months ago, he got knocked out by Alex Pereira. What would you tell him just coming to this fight? What did your motivation do to perform in the next couple months? And we see that you beat Koscheck right after that battle. So what would you tell him?
I think one of the biggest mistake when someone fights another person is trying to do, if he try to use his anger, his emotion, that might be a mistake. I think it's important to focus on the objective, not the subjective. It's very important. And the difference is, if you focus on the objective, only on the things that you can control, not the thing that you don't have control for. For example, am I gonna lose or win? You don't control that. What people gonna think about me? You don't control that. What my opponent is doing, you don't control that. Just focus on the thing that you need, that you can control. And by doing so, he knows what he needs to do to get the job done. Focus on that and clear your mind of all the BS around it. Just focus on what you need to do, and just by doing this, you slip the odds in your favor.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, man. Back over here.
Hey, how's it going? Oh, all right, I could hear myself. This question is for George. It's about one of your other passions and what everyone's here to hear us talk about. Dinosaurs! Let's hear it. All right, so the question is your top 3 pound for pound dinosaur species and why?
Well, I don't know if... Number 1, Dromaeosaur. I think they're the number 1. All the Dromaeosaur. Number 2, I would say... I feel so ridiculous now. Nobody probably understand what I'm talking about.
It's a Dromaeosaur.
Dromaeosaur, you guys all seen Jurassic Park, the raptors. The Dromaeosaur are the family of that kind of dinosaur. So I think the Dromaeosaur, they're for dinosaur perspective, they're very smart. They have a lot of weapon, claws, teeth. Some of them could glide and land on their prey. So I think they're the number 1. And if I go, that's for the predatory animal. Then for the herbivore, I would say ankylosaurs. All the ankylosaur, it's like a turtle-like dinosaur with a hammer at the tail, so it could defend itself very well. So there you go, you have it.
Thank you. What about Barney? Barney, you remember Barney?
Barney is a Tyrannosaurus is very good too. T-Rex is bone-crushing bite power, so he's right up there.
Brontosaurus, what do you think?
Brontosaurus is big, he's big, but till the time he gets to that size, sometimes he doesn't make it. Most of it doesn't make it.
Always prepared, that Georges St-Pierre, right? What do you have, sir?
What's going on, guys? What's going on, Miami? This question's for Vitor Belfort. You've been through every single inception of the UFC. Your first fight was 1996. Your first fight in the UFC was 1997. Every single inception, what is the next level, or where does the UFC go? You've been fighting win at the very beginning. What's the next step in the evolution of mixed martial arts?
I think UFC is doing everything better than anybody. They're doing a very good job. They're creating the landscape. I can see UFC become like the NFL. Like they're getting so big and so awesome. And to see everyone works. It's a company that they're trying to keep the people here. And I wish they can have like the retirement, like for the master division. I think they can do a lot of stuff, but I mean, they're doing so great. You see the events are amazing. The fighters are just getting better and better and better. So it's seen that, just not just the event, but the sport itself, just the sport become a sport, not just entertaining. It's great to see the entertaining fact, but I love to see the sport, the fighter, the retirement, how they can become more wise and save more money. They can have a retirement for the fighters. I love when I see a sport like tennis, basketball, football, like being here is a reunion, because I know not just what he goes through, what his wife goes through, what his kids go through, the sacrifice we all make here. So sometimes you guys see us as a warrior, like in the Coliseum, but they have family, they have life. So I want to see fighters become more, start buying gold and chain, invest your money, become smart, because it's very important. It's not going to last forever, but I'd be very smart to the fighters to be able to create a retirement. And I think UFC is doing a great job to creating platforms for fighters to become a speaker. And so I think UFC has done a great job.
Awesome. And one more question. You guys are a part of one of the best divisions, the middleweight division. Besides you four guys, Evan Tanner, Murilo Bustamante, Anderson Silva, the greatest and the who's who has fought in the middleweight division. What fighters are on your radar that could do big things as you guys have done in the middleweight division?
I think like Jordan was saying, when you put your mind into it and you train, you prepare, you do the right things, I think anybody that has a talent can take you there, but the effort, I believe in effort. Effort can make you a champion. So whatever fighters put the effort, they can achieve anything they want.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to passion. It's hard to really look at the talent and figure it out, because a lot of times talent is just not enough at all. Everyone's talented at this stage of the game. So you need someone who's super passionate and obsessed with being the best in the world, and that guy has the best chance of, being a champion.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. We got about 5 more minutes, so if you haven't lined up already, I would discourage you from doing so. Yes, young man, what do you have?
Yeah, this is a question for George. There have been rumors this week about a possible grappling match between you and Khabib. Would you be open to that in the future?
Ooh, I like that.
Well, there's always rumor. I have not heard of anything, but yeah. Listen, my days of serious competition are over, but you never say never to, if it's well done, maybe for a good cause, money goes to charity, and I would compete again, but not to prove that. Not to try to be the strongest man in the world. I have no interest of doing it anymore, but for a grappling event, maybe something like this, never say never,
Okay, thank you so much. And I just want to say, George, you are a legend. I love you. You are the greatest of all time.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? I'm from Greenville, South Carolina. Shout out Miami, Florida. So first of all, for all of you guys on the panel, I was wondering, if you guys were all in your prime right now, who would you fight in your respective divisions?
So he wants to know, if you were in your fighting prime right now, who would you want to fight? I guess at either welterweight or middleweight.
Well, for me, I would, for a fighter, I speak for myself, but I'm sure you guys share the same thing. For a fighter, sometimes the most exciting things to do is the scariest thing. So for me, I would want to fight the best, if I would be in my prime, because I want it to be the best, so I would want to fight the best.
Yeah, same. I mean, you just want the biggest challenges, so whoever's the champ, that's who you want.
Same. If you want to become the greatest, you have to find the greatest. You are defined not how many victories you have, it's what your opponents. That's how you define yourself. So,
yeah, once you always looking for the best, because at the end of the day, it is a mind game. You want to be the best. If you want to be the best, you want to fight the best.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Go ahead.
Hi. Given that all of you have had such lengthy careers, how is your training in or outside competition significantly different? Like, what are some standout elements that today would be so different than when your career started?
Leo, you want to start with that one? I know you said you're training every day still, but what was your training like in training camp versus some of the other training?
Off season. Yeah. So when you're in off season, it's different because everything is fun. You're training, you don't have you don't have to follow the schedule. For example, if you train 2 days very strong, the other day you can rest. But sometimes when you're in camp, on season, you don't have that choice. You just have to go. you have to go like for 5 rounds. You have to do like weight training, strength training, everything. You don't have choice. But when you're in off season, you have to maintain, you have to keep your shape. But sometimes you have the option, no?
Is there something you're doing differently now than you did when your career first started?
Oh, totally different. Now I do what I want to do. I do what I feel like comfort for me. But of course, sometimes I go to the gym and try to test myself, test the water, and see how I am now. No, but in terms of training, I do most of the time what I like to do, what I feel comfortable to do. When I don't get hurt, no stuff that I get hurt, sometimes I don't train too much because I don't have a fight coming up.
Yes, I think it's lifestyle. So you got to understand that, we have seasons. You're not going to wear no shirt in a cold season. So I think fighters have to understand that. I think where athletes get hurt the most, studying longevity, is in the weight room. Get big and strong. So I'm a big believer in get pliable. You got to strength is different than being big and strong. So it's like we are throwing athletes. We punch. We don't push weights. This is not CrossFit. Yeah. This is fighting. So you have to focus on skills and how can you produce your strength in your movement. So if I can go back, I would do everything different. But I cannot go back, so I can only go forward. So I create a fitness called Belfort Fitness Lifestyle. So everything that I learned through my life, I like to share with people. So everything is forward. We are forward motion person. So we have to train more the back part of our body than the front part of our body. So I call, our strength is not on the front, it's on the back. So it's in your glute, it's in your hamstring. So if I can go back, I would do everything in the weight room differently. But I hope going forward, fighters understand that philosophy, that I need to be skillful and have strength and mobility, flexibility, and learn to eat and drink right. I think that's the key.
One thing I feel like really evolved since I started my career was when I first started, it was like almost a prideful thing how much weight guys would gain after a fight. It was like, oh, look what I'm eating and, going overboard. And I would jump on the bandwagon too. Like, Matt Serra was my coach, right? So I got to see him. His weight used to just fly up. Like, it was insane, like as much pizza as possible. But as the sport evolved, we became more of like a professional athlete. You want to take care of your body all year long. You ramp it up during a training camp, of course, but you want to try to keep a healthy lifestyle as long as possible for longevity. But for a long time, that was not a thing. I feel like GSP might have been one of the first guys to really eat healthy for an extended period of time.
It's all about balance. I don't eat so healthy, trust me. I think it's all about balance. For me, if I could go back in time and talk to a younger self, I would tell myself to train less. Because I did not give myself enough time to recuperate sometime, and I had some stupid injuries because of it. When I was in training camp, because when you're in training camp, you try to recreate the situation of your fight. Therefore, you try to put yourself in a very uncomfortable situation, outside of your comfort zone. So normally I train in a gym, we have fun when I'm off season, with my regular training partner. But when I'm in training camp, I used to fly guys that has similar characteristic than my future opponent. And their job were to giving me a hard time. Their job were to try to kick my butt in training. So training in training camp, for a training camp, it's not fun for me because it was about performance. Training when you're off season, it's fun because it's about pleasure, learning new things. But definitely, I believe for longevity, you need to give yourself time for recuperation. Not to be lazy, but to give yourself more time for recuperation sometimes.
Thank you.
Thank you all. We got time for a couple more. We'll go over here first. What do you have, sir?
So first off, just want to say, John Anik, greatest announcer in sports.
Thank you, buddy.
Doesn't matter the sport. Love you.
Appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Second, my question is going to be for GSP and Chris Weidman. So with Faraz Sahabi and John Danaher as your coaches, and then Ray Longo and Matt Serra as yours, what do you think has made them so successful over the past few years in MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well when it comes to Danaher?
Want me to go first? So Ray and Matt completely different. Danaher is also a coach of mine, but I think what Ray's done really good to focus on him is getting to know his fighters in and outside the cage, forming like special bonds with the fighters where like you get to the point where you love him so much and the words that come out of his mouth mean so much. And if he believes in you, you want to prove him right when you walk into that octagon. And him and Matt just as a partnership with Matt's technical skills and the way he could amp you up, and with Longo, how he just creates this environment where you'll die for him. It's just really hard not to, do well. And then just to piggyback with Danaher just is a magician on the mat. Like, he's created a system like we've never seen before. I come from a wrestling background. There is no systems in that sport like there is with jiu-jitsu, and it's really a testament to Danaher. So for him to be in New York City my whole career, for me to be able to go inside, jump on a train and, head on over to the city was huge for me to be able to get insight from him.
A few people knows this, but it's not everybody that knows that Firas and John are both, they have diploma in philosophy. John is a PhD in philosophy at Columbia University. So he used to teach at Columbia. Columbia is a very high-end university. And I think one of the reasons why they are so good at teaching is because they use and they take their academic experience that they got from philosophy and they bring it into jiu-jitsu and mixed martial art.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it very much. All right, our final question, Mr. Irrelevant. Just kidding. What do you have?
Appreciate that, John. Good afternoon, gentlemen. My question to all of you is, George, you come from Canada, Chris, New York, Vitor, Brazil, Lyoto, Brazil. What makes Florida so clearly, like landslide, superior place to train and practice and overall perform MMA? Like what makes it so dominant, and at least for America, if not the whole world? Because I see this as like East Vegas in the future.
Vitor, why don't you lead us there, because you were one of the first Brazilians that really made Florida a hotbed for MMA.
We Brazilians say the best city of Brazil is Florida.
Yep.
And I think it goes down to what the city offers. So no state taxes here, so that's a great thing. I think we as a citizens here, we have to see we are being protected, our rights being protected or not. It's like this. I'll be honest. You can choose to like to do drugs, but don't make this legal to do drugs. Don't make what you want be what I need. So I say everybody has a free will to choose, but to live in society, you guys know I don't like to praise politicians, but DeSantis is the best guy. I'm sorry. That's why every New Yorker, Brazilian, Canadian, everybody's coming. George's coming to a lot to Florida because here you got protected. Your rights are protected, and I think, you guys, we gotta have more UFC in Miami for sure. I want to fight in Miami.
Lyoto, how did you end up in California long term versus Florida?
So when I first came to the US, I went straight to California and I spent like 8 years and a half over there. And 3 years ago, I decided to move to here, to Florida, because this is the best state to live, man. I love to be here. The weather, no tax. The weather is good. It's perfect.
No mask.
So I love California, but I prefer to be here.
I can't thank you all enough for the participation, for the energy. We got the weigh-in coming up in 5 minutes, but once before, a final hand for the legends, Georges St-Pierre, Chris Weidman, Vitor Belfort, and Lyoto Machida. Thank y'all. Plenty more to come today from Miami. UFC fans, come out to our Modelo meet and greet with two-weight UFC world champion, Amanda Nunes at Black Market, right here in Miami. This Saturday, Modelo, room for those with the fight.
We have created Drink Company. The fastest growing sports drink in history.
Sign up today for your chance to win a one-of-a-kind experience for 2 VIP tickets to the largest UFC event of the year. Exclusive access to the 2023 UFC Hall of Fame induction ceremony and VIP access to a 2-day fan experience. Plus a private tour of UFC headquarters and the UFC Performance Institute. Plus experience dream racing, Top Golf, and Maverick helicopters. For more details on how to enter, visit UFCFightWeek.com.
Don't miss your chance to be a part of UFC history. With unique memorabilia from UFC Collectibles. Have your name added to the Octagon canvas at UFC's biggest events and receive your framed name on canvas after the fight. Get closer to the action than ever before. Limited spaces available. Scan the QR code now. Own a piece of UFC history only with UFC Collectibles.
UFC X is back. Celebrate UFC's 30th anniversary with the largest premier 2-day immersive fan experience for fight fans. Friday, July 7th and Saturday, July 8th. Get unrivaled access to UFC athletes and personalities, interactive brand and sponsor activations, plus all the fan favorite attractions. It all goes down during UFC International Fight Week at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Tickets on sale now at AXS.com.
Israel Adesanya, he has never been beaten at 185 pounds.
But Alex Pereira is the boogeyman to Israel Adesanya. Oh my goodness! Pereira's landed some really good shots.
Nice left hands from the challenger.
Oh, he hurt him! He hurt him bad at the buzzer. The champ's starting to open up now. It seems like we're looking at about 3-1 pretty comfortably for the champion.
Adesanya 5 minutes away from remaining the UFC standard at 185 pounds.
But the danger is still there with Pereira. Oh, he hurt him! He hurt him bad!
Adesanya's on wobbly legs!
Oh, God!
Down goes the champion!
Oh, that's it! That's it!
Todd has done it! Alex Pereira, the undisputed middleweight champion! I don't believe it!
It's a good story for him. He knocked me out. But this is my story, and it's about revenge.
To be great, you gotta stand up when you fall. This is time for war.
A fantastic night of mixed martial arts in Miami.
Adesanya!
This is an opportunity for him to get revenge and to show how great he truly is. But the Alex Pereira is a killer.
They better come prepared. If you send for me, I'll send them back. With their heads off like what was that?
Alex Pereira!
You cannot stand in front of that man. He knocks people into other dimensions.
The king of Miami, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal.
This is time for war.
I'm gonna be the most violent I've ever been.
Gilbert Durinho Burns!
He's a real threat wherever he goes.
It's gonna be a war.
Crazy night. I cannot wait.
Yeah, victory is mine.
UFC fans, we'd like to welcome you to the ceremonial weigh-in for UFC 287, Pereira versus Adesanya 2. Tomorrow night, with much fanfare, the Octagon returns to the 305 Miami, Florida, USA. And in the main event, big things as the new undisputed UFC middleweight champion Alex Pereira puts his title on the line for the first time against his chief rival, the decorated former champion and the last style bender, Israel Adesanya. Also on tap in the co-headliner, the king of Miami, Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, back in the role of underdog against the adopted Floridian and fellow former world title challenger, Gilbert Durinho Burns. We would like to thank our UFC sponsor, Prime Hydration, the official sports drink of UFC. And we also send a special welcome to our UFC Fight Club members joining us today here in Miami, Florida. We hope to see all of you once again at the arena with a live action tomorrow night. And now your master of ceremonies for the weigh-in for UFC 287. Here is Joe Rogan.
What's happening, Miami? Thank you very much for coming out. How about a nice round of applause for Chrissy, Brittany, Vanessa, Dana White. Without him, none of this would be possible. Hunter Campbell, the matchmakers extraordinaire, Sean Shelby and Mick Maynard. We got a banging card for you, folks. Live from the Kaseya Center, we kick things off with the women's strawweight division. Jacqueline Amorim versus Sam Hughes. First up on the scale, Sam Hughes, official weight 116. And her opponent, Jacqueline Amorim. Official weight 115.5. First fight of the night, ladies and gentlemen, Jacqueline Amorim and Sam Hughes. The next fight takes place in the featherweight division. Shailon Nerdumbeck versus Steve Garcia. First up on the scale, Steve Garcia, official weight 145.5. And his opponent, Shailon Nerdumbeck. Official weight 146. Steve Garcia and Shailon Nerdumbeck. The next fight is a catchweight bout at 160 pounds. Ignacio Bahamondes versus Trey Ogden. Official weight 159.5 for Mr. Ogden. And his opponent, Ignacio Bahamondes. Official weight 159.5. Trey Ogden and Ignacio Bahamondes, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we move to the feature bout of the UFC Fight Pass and ESPN Plus prelims in the women's strawweight division. Cynthia Calvillo versus Lupi Godinez. First up on the scale, Lupi Godinez, official weight 115.5. And her opponent, Cynthia Calvillo. Official weight 116. Lupi Godinez and Cynthia Calvillo, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we move to the ESPN prelims, and we kick things off in the heavyweight division. Carl Williams versus Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman, official weight 249.5 for the Vanilla Gorilla. And his opponent, Carl Williams. Official weight 241 from Mr. Williams. Kicking it off on ESPN, ladies and gentlemen, Carl Williams and Chase Sherman. The next fight takes place in the middleweight division. Gerald Meerschaert versus Joe Viper. First up on the scale, Joe Viper. Official weight 185.5. And his opponent, Gerald Meerschaert. Official weight 185.5. Gerald Meerschaert and Joe Viper, ladies and gentlemen. The next fight takes place in the women's strawweight division. Michelle Waterson Gomez versus Luana Pinheiro. First up on the scale, Luana Pinheiro, official weight 115.5. And her opponent, Michelle Waterson Gomez. Official weight 116 for the Karate Hottie. Luana Pinheiro and Michelle Waterson Gomez, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we move to the featured bout of the prelims in the middleweight division. Chris Curtis versus Kelvin Gastelum. First up on the scale, Kelvin Gastelum, official weight 185. And his opponent, Chris Curtis. Official weight 186 for Mr. Curtis. That is a hell of a fight, ladies and gentlemen. Kelvin Gastelum and Chris Curtis. Now we move to the main card. Live on pay-per-view, we kick things off in the bantamweight division. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Christian Rodriguez. First on the scale, Christian Rodriguez, official weight 137. He has missed weight. And his opponent, Rosas Jr. Official weight 135 for El Niño Problema. Kicking off the main card, ladies and gentlemen, Christian Rodriguez and Raul Rosas Jr. The next fight takes place in the welterweight division. Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. First up on the scale, Santiago Ponzinibbio, official weight 171. And his opponent, Kevin Holland. Official weight 170.5. Santiago Ponzinibbio and Kevin Holland, ladies and gentlemen. The next fight takes place in the bantamweight division. Rob Font versus Adrian Yanez. First up on the scale, Adrian Yanez, official weight 135.5. And his opponent, Rob Font. Official weight 135 from Mr. Font. That's another banger of a fight, ladies and gentlemen. Adrian Yanez and Rob Font. And now let's take a closer look at the two men involved in the co-main event of the evening.
This man has a cult following and then some. He has put Miami on the map.
At this point in my career, I truly feel that I am one of the best in the world, if not the best at welterweight. And this fight with Gilbert here in Miami is everything.
Gilbert Burns is a warrior, and he'll fight anyone.
Whenever I'm done, I want to be remembered by the guy that put exciting fight, the guy that became a champion. I'll bring the power in the hands, aggressive style, heavy grappling, heavy wrestling. I think it's gonna be a hard night for Jorge Masvidal.
Gilbert, you're a crotch sniffer. Prove me wrong. And you know what I do to crotch sniffers.
One of the greatest knockouts you'll ever see! Game Red!
I feel that he has an attraction to my knee. I just feel it.
I think I'm the stronger guy. I have more cardio. I hit harder. I have what it takes to give him another loss.
Oh, he puts it down, and that is it! Gilbert Durinho Burns! That is the finish he was looking for!
Who's next? I'm ready. Let's go!
I got enough money already, so I'm not fighting for money. And I want to catch a body or two this year.
Wow!
I do believe I represent Miami better than Jorge Masvidal.
I'm Miami through and through, you know, born and raised here. I love it. This is my city. It's nothing personal, but I want to break his face. I don't know if you want to call that personal or just intensity that I have to bring to make sure that this individual gets executed in my city.
The Brazil community is gonna be in Miami. We're gonna decide who's the king of Miami, the 305. I represent the BMF belt way more than Georgia does. The fans gonna see me as a BMF champion after the fight.
This man is a real veteran.
I've been fighting professionally 20 years. I'm only fighting to fight the best, because I'm gonna go for it all, man. I'm gonna go for 2 titles. I'm gonna knock this his head out.
Bam! Oh! Cerrone in a world of trouble here. That is it! Game bred Masvidal. Whether it's in the street, on the beach, on an island, he does not care. Oh,
it's over.
direct down.
Oh my goodness, beautiful.
If I get there in my zone present, that fight doesn't pass the second round.
Literally, I'm turning him to like a little ball and crush him.
Jorge Masvidal gets a massive knockout win.
Gilbert Durinho Burns inside the octagon, he is an absolute savage. Oh!
I'm not gonna be a stepping stone for some guys who would have never beat me. They could have never held my jockstrap in my prime.
The king of Miami, game-bred Masvidal.
A finish over Masvidal gives me a title shot. I'm excited for this one. The fans are gonna win so much with this fight.
The battle for Miami, ladies and gentlemen, in the welterweight division. Jorge Game Bred Masvidal! Official weight, 171 from Mr. Masvidal. And his opponent, Gilbert Durinho Burns. Official weight, 170. All right, I'm here with Jorge Masvidal. Jorge, this is a special night for you tomorrow night to be able to compete in Miami, and a special moment for you at this time in your career. It's a high-stakes fight. Give us your thought on what goes down tomorrow night.
Mi gente que hola. Dale. Ustedes saben lo que voy a hacer. Bring the pots and pans, porque después que lo noqueamos para la calle, regado la calle entera, lo voy a matar y se los voy a regalar a ustedes. Everybody knows, bring your pots and pans in Miami, how we do. We're gonna hit the streets and mob out. All the goons light the sky up like 4th of July. I'm gonna knock you out. I'm just telling you right now, brother. Nothing personal, but I gotta knock your ass out. Love all of you, man. Miami, let's go. Let's fucking go.
Jorge Masvidal, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with Gilbert Burns, ladies and gentlemen. Gilbert, this is obviously a huge fight. You live here too. This is for bragging rights, and it's a very important fight for the welterweight division. Give us your thoughts on tomorrow night.
I love it. Keep that same energy. I'm gonna kill your boy tomorrow. Let's go.
Gilbert Burns, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a closer look at the two men involved in the main event of the evening.
So here he is, Israel Adesanya, on his way to becoming the greatest middleweight champion of all time. This man as a fighter is greatness personified, the ultimate example of a champion, always fighting the toughest guys. 7 UFC title fights for Adesanya, 7 total mixed martial art fights for his counterpart, Alex Pereira.
But this is one of the most ferocious fighters that has ever entered into the sport. The only glory, 2 division simultaneous champ. He knocks people into other dimensions.
This is a guy who has fought Israel Adesanya twice in kickboxing and knocked him out cold.
Alex Pereira is the boogeyman to Israel Adesanya. Oh, nice right hand by Izzy.
Nice right hand by Izzy.
But make no mistake about it, this is his world, this is his house.
Round 1 was a feeling out process, and I figured him out towards the end of the round, and literally with just like on the bell.
Oh, he hurt him.
I caught him.
Huge right and a left at the end of the round.
He hurt him bad.
There it is.
Hurt him bad.
So with another 3 or 2 seconds left, I would put him away.
Pereira trying to get his wits about him back to the stool.
It's gonna be a long minute.
Já no segundo round, foi uma continuidade assim, né, do primeiro assim, taticamente, estrategicamente.
Pereira's landed some really good shots this round, man.
Né, onde no finalzinho o diferencial foi aquela queda que eu apliquei.
And now Pereira shoots.
Oh my goodness.
And Pereira gets the takedown.
Look at this.
We might be 1-1, boys.
Round 3, I took him down and I just beat him. I kept him down and I just held him down and I beat him up there.
First career UFC takedown for the champ.
Ground and pound by the champion. Big left hands.
Round 4, I remember schooling him, doing work on him.
Ooh. And now he seems to have starting to pull away from him. He's tired.
Pereira's very tired. He's very tired.
If you tell him he's got to kickbox for 25 minutes, he can do it all day. But you're mixing all the grappling and everything else that entails the mixed martial arts fight. He just has not been able to keep up the pace.
Adesanya 5 minutes away from remaining the UFC standard at 185 pounds.
E pro MMA porque eu achei que já tinha feito tudo já no kickboxing. Eu poderia fazer a mesma coisa, né? Quando eu sou desafiado, ninguém me segura.
Oh!
Here's that left hook.
He hurt him bad.
Oh, and now a right.
Falei, agora é os 5 rounds da minha vida.
Adesanya's on rolling legs. 2 more. Down goes the champion. Pereira trying to close the show. That'll do it. And new. Palatine has done it.
He did it again.
Alex Pereira, the undisputed middleweight champion.
Izzy needed to be perfect. Pereira didn't need to be perfect. And when he landed, he got it done.
This one is going to sting for a long time.
Loss is never determined. It's just part of the story. I'm not done with what I'm doing. I'm still Israel Adesanya. I'm one of the greats. It's my time to rise to the occasion, and I will.
Muitas pessoas olham, vê que ele fala que ele evoluiu, mas pra mim não. Bom, não vi nenhuma diferença do Israel lutando kickbox. Bom, com certeza isso vai mexer com a cabeça dele. Foram 3 lutas, 2 nocautes. Bom, a minha mensagem pro Israel é para ele estar bem preparado, porque eu vou estar.
I'm a dangerous and my back's against the wall. We know what dogs do. This is war.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, for the middleweight championship of the world. Introducing the challenger, the former UFC middleweight champion of the world, Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya. Official weight, 184.5 for the challenger. And his opponent, the reigning, defending, undisputed middleweight champion of the world, champion. I'm here with the challenger, ladies and gentlemen. Israel Adesanya, this is a massive fight for you. Give us your thoughts on what this means to you and how tomorrow night goes down.
Everything. Orúkọ mi ni Israel, mo Bọ́lájí Tèmítáyọ̀ Ọdúnayọ̀ Olúwafẹ́mi Owólabí Adesanya. Ọmọ ọba ni mí. Tomorrow, it's one and done.
The last style bender, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with the champion, ladies and gentlemen. This is obviously a huge moment for you, a chance to defend your title against the man you took it from. Give us your thoughts on how tomorrow goes down.
Obviamente, um momento importantíssimo para você, a tua chance de defender o título contra um cara de quem você tirou. O que você está pensando agora?
Bom, já falei tudo que eu tinha que falar. O que eu vou falar para vocês, amanhã, quando soltar a coleira dele, eu vou prender ele na coleira de novo.
I've said everything I've had to say. All I'm going to say to you is tomorrow I'm just going to take his collar off and I'm going to take him out just like a dog.
Good luck to you, sir. The champion, ladies and gentlemen, Alex Pereira. We will see you all tomorrow night. Thank you.